Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. Welcome friends to a fun hop that I am participating in with my sweet friends from the YouTube world. This is Halloween is what we are calling this. We're doing some Halloween decor. I'm playing with my sweet friend Tracy Vanover and the Secret Craft Room as well as Marina's Corner Crafts. So sit tight, grab a crafty drink if you want, a spooky drink, whatever you might want. Put your feet up and just settle in because we are having a good time. So I am just starting off with some stuff from my stash, and I'm going to do a full-on mixed media Halloween piece. This is new to me. I have bits and bobs and different pieces that I have been playing with for years but never actually did anything with. So the block is an old wooden block from a stamp from Stampin' Up. I decided that is going to be my substrate, and I have that fun paper. I actually picked up the paper from Temu, so don't dismiss Temu, y'all. There's some beautiful stuff out there. And then of course I have these beautiful molds, and you can use all kinds of different things to create your images with your molds. I have some air dry clay, but unfortunately the air dry clay is very fragile, so I've not had great success with that. Here you can see I am using my glue gun. It is not fragile. However, it doesn't always fill the molds very well, and so there's cracks and there's crevices and there's holes, and not the best result with this either, but for what I'm doing for my purposes, I think it's working fine. So you saw me kind of digging through those bowls. Some of that was actually paper, full-on paper, like toilet paper and paper towels. And that's a video in and of itself, which I'm not prepared to do now. But again, today we are using the hot glue for the most part, and these are turning out okay. And I wasn't really sure what kind of direction I wanted to go in, so I'm making sure that I have loads and loads of elements so I can play. I like choices, I like options. So I did probably an hour's worth of hot gluing into those molds, and I had plenty of options. So I narrowed down my paper choices to this one, and really once you get it all put together, the paper is the last thing that you see. Really, you don't, it's just the background. But this beautiful stencil from Finnabar and that crackle paste just works so well, and I set them aside to dry, and then I got back to all of my different little elements. Now again, these are almost all hot glue. Some of them are the air dry clay, but you see, I mean, they break in my hand at some points, so I don't use a whole lot of them, but I am just adding some gesso, some white gesso, and you know, I'm using just a stiff brush basically, and just kind of spreading it on, stippling it in some places, just making sure that I get it in there. And then I'm coming back and I'm adding a base of kind of a bone beigey taupey colored paint. This is actually some white paint mixed with, I think it's Gathered Twigs or Vintage Photo distress paint from Tim Holtz. And then I come back with my antiquing wax. Now this wax is from a company called Chalk Mountain. I want to say they're out of Colorado, but I could be wrong. It's somewhere in the West like that. But this is, it's an antiquing wax. Now this isn't a paint, so this is my first time using that as well. I have loads of firsts going on in this video, y'all. But I just use that little stipple brush and I rub it on, and then I use a tissue and I wipe it back off. And I just set it aside to dry. Now the wax takes some time to dry, so be patient. In fact, this is probably a good 24 hours worth of footage that I have narrowed down to about 13-ish minutes. So just know that there are times if you're going to do something like this, you got to walk away. You got to give it time to dry and do its thing. So I was cleaning off the adhesive from that wood block, and then I added some gesso to that as well. I wanted to add some more to this background, so I have this stamp from Whimsy Stamps. It's a background stamp. It's a vintage script, and it is one of my favorite crafting products in my entire stash. And then I come in with this black paint. It's just called Noir, and it is by Paper Artsy. Nope, I'm sorry, I'm lying. That's a golden paint. I thought it was Paper Artsy. But anyway, I just dabbed some on, mixed it with water, got it to be more of a wash than a full-on paint. Hit it with my heat tool to help it dry. And then I'm using just some regular old Mod Podge just to adhere this paper down. And I was actually going to cut off the edges and just have the paper on the front, but I really liked the way it looked when it wrapped around the edge there, because I wanted to do something with the edges anyway, so this just kind of answered that for me. And I love the way that stenciling looks. It just adds such great texture there. You barely see the paper as it was. You can see the lighter colors coming through, some of those pinky peachy orangey colors, and I think that's really pretty. And then I'm going around the edges with the black again, just bringing that black in and bringing it up around the edges so that the edges are full on black, and then it kind of fades into the background, and I think it looks so good. I am really, really loving this so far. Y'all tell me what you think. Okay, and while you're telling me what you think, tell me what you think about mixed media in general. Like, I love mixed media, and I do it in lots of different ways. I've never done anything like this. I've dabbled with it and I've come close, but I've never full on done like a Finnabair, a Finnabair treatment, if you will. And a lot of these products are Finnabair, so it's fitting. I am loving the way this is working out. Now I'm just going to show you my process. I'm going to stop talking here for a minute. I have it super sped up so you can kind of see my thought process. And I'm playing with all my different elements and auditioning them, and some make the cut and some do not. So let's just kind of watch for a minute. Wah, wah, it broke right in my hand. So I switched gears. This whole project was about switching gears, and I ended up using a different wing that was made out of the hot glue. So I'll be quiet again. We'll continue to watch the process. Picking it up, looking at it from different angles, adding elements underneath to make sure that there's some lift and that everything is on the same plane, if you will. Coming back in with some more of that black to add that extra level of antiquing so that all the elements look like the frame. Dabbing it on, dabbing it off. Making sure that the black settles into all the crevices where we want it to look more old. Now addressing that upper right hand corner, part of me wanted to just leave it to give the eye a place to rest, but I just had all these elements that I really just wanted to play with and give some attention to. So here we are. Your eye can have a rest after we're done. And then I found this Sparks paint. Now this is an acrylic paint, but I'm using it more like a wax, and I'm using my fingers to rub it on and just add some of these kind of goldy highlights. And I'm absolutely loving this so very much. I go a little crazy. Now let me say, when I was asking about your feelings about mixed media and all of that, I also want to say, if you do this or if you don't do this, or whatever your project is, whatever your medium is, whatever, you can stop at any point that suits you. Like right now, as I'm looking at that, that would have been a great place to stop. But I'm a more is more girl. Y'all, through and through to my soul. I am a more is more girl. I can't help it. That's who I am. When I get done with the more, do I sometimes regret it? Regret is a strong word. I can't say that I regret, but I do learn, right? And so I'm learning to curb. I'm learning to slow down. If I'd had the time, I probably would have walked away from it and let it sit overnight and come back to it in the morning. But y'all, I'm late as it is, so I did not have that luxury to walk away. But I'm loving it. I really, really love it. Now, this black base is the base of an old lamp. And you saw that base that I added to the top, that is a cover from a candle from Joann's. And so that is going to be my base, my pedestal, if you will, to set this beautiful piece. And I'm calling it beautiful, and maybe, I don't know, maybe that's presumptive, but I think it's beautiful. To my eye, it's beautiful. But it needed some natural elements. So here comes the moss. Do I wish it was a brighter green moss? I do, but I didn't have any. So we're going with what we've got. And it's okay. In person, there's more differentiation in color than what it shows on the camera, unfortunately. But I just added moss here and there, and I'm using a combination of the E6000 and the hot glue to adhere all of my pieces together. And look at that. I wish I had a finial to put at the top. I think that would have been the perfect kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Finishing touch, if you will. But I'm adding some more of that moss right there to the base where the wood block meets the pedestal. And I just think it's so cool. And then I do come back and I add some of these little gems. What are they called? They're from a company called This Calls for Confetti. They are raven beads. They're little half beads. There are 3 different sizes in there. And I just thought it added just that extra touch of black to pull some more of that black out. And this is my finished product. Now I'm going to show it to you. I put it out on my mantle. We'll take a few pictures. Not the best lighting. Again, I didn't have the luxury of waiting for some good light, but here we are. It is so cool. Again, I've never done anything like this. So if you guys have this experience, you let me know. Let me know. And I want to encourage you to, again, make sure to hop around and see my crafty friends, because I've got them playing while I'm doing this voiceover, and oh my gosh, they are making some of the sweetest stuff, but they always do. If you guys aren't already subscribed to these guys, you want to do that. Trust me, 100%. You don't want to miss out, because Tracy of Tracy Vanover Design, she has a beautiful Etsy shop. Marina and the Secret Craft Room, guys, go see them, subscribe, and stay tuned, because there's all kinds of good stuff coming around. But for now, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy, and I'm tapping out.